Hey, what is up YouTube? And in today's video we're going to be looking at the best settings for your Sony A5100 DSLR camera. We're also going to be looking at some products that I recommend that you get alongside doing these settings in order to have the very best quality that you can achieve. Let's go. Okay guys, so before we look into the actual settings on the camera itself, there are a few items that we will need to get, so let's go through those together. So starting off, we need the Elgato Cam Link. You can either get the 4K edition or you can get the Cam Link Pro, but the 4K edition is good enough. Obviously this is in pounds, £89, but you can get it on your own stores wherever you may be. Next up we have this high-speed micro HDMI cable. This basically, so this end here, this HDMI cable end will go into your Elgato in the back of it, and then your Elgato goes into the back of your PC, and this cable here goes into your camera itself. Next up, you want to get this power adapter supply coupler kit. Basically this allows for your camera to be on permanently so it doesn't run out of battery whilst you're streaming. Next up, I recommend that you get this stand or something similar. Basically like this, I mean, where else would you put your camera? So the last two products I'm going to show you guys are all to do with lighting. Now this is just a basic ring light. This is not this is sort of quite cheap, you know, it's £25. I have this one directly opposite me. It also, as you can see in the picture, it comes with this little stand for your phone. You can put it down lower if you want. Maybe you want it as a second camera or second camera angle or something. So it comes with different shades of color as well. So I recommend you get this. And last but not least, we have these lights. These are LED video lights. They're pretty cheap. You get two for £50 in this link. I'm sure you can find your own version or wherever you live. That's that guys, let's move on to the camera settings themselves. Okay guys, so here are the settings that we want to be using on the camera itself. First off, we want to start it off by going to setup down here, going to the second page of it, going down to HDMI settings, and then changing that resolution to 1080p. Another setting that we need to change is this PAL/NTSC selector. Make sure you select that and change it to NTSC. It comes up saying change to PAL for me because mine is already set to NTSC. But for you, it will come up saying change to NTSC. Make sure you select that before we get into all these other settings. Now we're going to go into the camera settings. Now kicking it off, you want to go into shoot mode. You want to select movie, and then you want to select manual exposure. This will give us some extra features later on that we will need to amend. Now we go back in, we want image size to be set to L:20M. Aspect ratio, this is optional, it's up to you. You can either have it at 16:9, which is widescreen, or 3:2, which is more of like a box. That's sort of up to you, you can play around with that. Next page, file format. We want this set to XAVCS. If you don't have this as an option, you can change it to AVC HD, but this option at the top is the best one. Record setting. We want to set this to 30p 50m. Now you can set it to 60p if you want, which is obviously that's 60 frames per second. But I mean, for streaming, you're not going to be moving. So like 60 frames is more for like video games that have a lot of movement in them, or if you're going to be like running around on camera, which I'm assuming you're not going to be. You're going to be sitting in your chair playing games or just chatting, right? So just keep that at 30p 50m. Next page, I don't have to worry about flash comp or red eye. Focus mode, make sure you have that set to continuous autofocus, and then have your focus area set to wide. Next page, we want our drive speed and our track duration set to normal. You want exposure comp set to 0, and if we go into ISO, you want to have that set to auto. You can play around with that if you want, but I'd recommend you set it to auto. Alright, so next page. Metering mode set to multi. You want to go into white balance here, go all the way down till you get to this option, C-temp/filter. Go into that and then just amend it to whatever suits you. For me, I have it on 6500. Just play around with that until you get what you want. For DRO, we want to set that to D range optical, or I think that means optical or option. And then you have creative style here. Now this is completely depends on preference, but I'd like to have mine on portrait, and then +3, +3, and +3 on all attributes. But just play around with this. You can have a picture effect. I have that off, but you can change that if you'd like, but I wouldn't recommend it. Next page, we have everything on here to remain the same apart from smile/face detection. Make sure you have that on. Page 7, there's nothing we need to change on there, and page 8, nothing to change there. Now we want to go back to the menu, and menu again, and now we're on to this screen. You just tap down once, you'll get to this F value. Make sure you set this to the lowest option. The lower you set it, the more light that will be let into the camera. If you go up, it lets in less light. If you're in an extremely bright room, then I'd recommend putting this up a little bit. But yeah, just play around with it and see what looks best for you. I have it on 3.5. You want to press down again and you'll go to this option. So if you press down, you'll flick between these two options. So we go down onto this one. This is our shutter speed. Now, because we are going to be streaming at 30p, we want to set this to double that value, which is 60. If you decided to shoot at 60 frames per second, you want to set this up to the closest to double of that figure, which is 125. So there you have it, guys. Those are the settings that you need. If this video did help you out, please give it a like. That will show others that it is a legit video. If you could give me a subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. I'll be releasing a lot more videos like this, along with many more tutorials. And if you could do me an absolute blinder, you want to show the support to me on another level, I would really appreciate it if you go over to my Twitch channel and give me a follow there. Anyway guys, thanks for watching and peace.